Hello and welcome to episode 40 of Unemployed to Unstoppable. We're reaching the very end of the season now. We've just got one game to go, which we'll play through shortly. Just a quick update on players. I've agreed 5 contract agreements with young players from Premier League clubs. And again, I'll save looking through them in detail till the transfer episode. But yeah, things looking good for rebuilding for the next season. So stay tuned and I'll take you through the final game of the season. And welcome back. So here we are, final day of the season away at Fulham. Starting lineup then, Ripley in goals, Elder at left back, McNamara at right back. We've got Johnson and Wallace in the centre of defence with Thibaut in the deep line playmaker role. Tavares and Thompson straight in front of him with Bennett playing on the left wing, Tanner on the right wing and Hugo up front. Same positive mentality we had before. We'll just carry in. In the last game, it doesn't mean a great deal. There may be 1 or 2 players can earn a chance to stay next season, so to speak, but having already agreed 5 young players to come in, and again, they're not for first team purposes necessarily. It's more to make sure that the players we've got in reserves in the under 23s and the under 19s have the potential to actually play for our first team, because as it stands, when you look at our youth team, they're very lacking in potential. So with the new influx of players, we should be able to ship out some of the youth that isn't going to make it to the level we want, replace them with those that maybe can, and if not, we'll make some profit on them along the way. And then following the conclusion to the season and the end of awards, we'll have a proper look at what we need to strengthen in the transfer special episode. The rest of this episode after this game, we should just be able to look through the end of season awards. Appreciate we weren't here for the full season, but it'll give us an insight into who was signed before we got here, who's kind of played the best over the course of the whole season, and again, further insight into who needs to go, who needs to stay. So it should be a fairly interesting episode. Obviously not game-wise though, because everyone's a bit shot-shy today. So here's a chance for Fulham. Carvalho into Richards. Florinus at the end of the box. Looks like they might be able to work a shot. And yeah, Wilkes, he's not even took a run up there. It's like standing still almost. So yeah, bit disappointing in that, but again, Fulham are right up the top of the table. I think they're 4th in the league, still playing possibly for automatic. I never looked at the points totals for them. Certainly from our point of view, we've got nothing to play for. Another chance for Fulham then. Oh, Hugo's picked it up. Tanner out wide to McNamara. Chance to deliver it, but he's stumbled and lost it there, giving Fulham a chance. I mean, Serrano's run the length of the pitch without being challenged there. I'd have been disappointed if he scored that. One of my players should stick his foot straight through the player and stop him in his tracks. As you can see there, 49 points. We might lose out to Sunderland in terms of league position. But again, I'm just keen to get to the end of the season, rebuild with some players of a bit better quality. Mate, I think we'll need to tweak the formation slightly because we're not creating enough. And certainly later on in the save, we need to have developed a more attacking formation if we're going to ever challenge to get into the Premier League. As I say that, Fulham have scored a second goal to go 2-0 up. We are on a positive mentality, and despite that, we've not had a single shot on target. So, again, I know we've got injuries, but it's no excuse. We should be able to keep them out at least till half-time before anything further happens. We'll just get into half-time, we'll do a team talk. There's not much to say, really. It's bit of an inept and nothing performance, and you tend to get these towards the end of a real season. A lot of the players in their minds are already on holidays or already dreaming of moving to a different club, approaching ends of contracts, and if you've got actually nothing to play for in terms of reaching a playoff or reaching automatic promotion, you're just not really going to get much out of them, unfortunately. So to see how the second half goes, I'm going to demand more from these players. So we get green. We got yellow, lots of yellow faces and a couple of green. I don't know what the yellow face means. Bennett's bruised his shin, but he doesn't need to come off. Again, I've got a good feeling about this Millwall team. Let me know in the comment section. But I think there's a framework of a team in there somewhere. There's a core of, I want to say 4 or 5 players that I think are good enough. There's not much in the way of potential, but I think there's enough about them to maybe make a playoff challenge next season with the right additions. Am I being too optimistic? Possibly. But we saw the great work we did with Wealdstone. I think we could do something similar with this Millwall side. Just a few. I think, I want to say 4 might be enough. 4 really good players. Bearing in mind it might take a bit of bedding in period for them. They'll need a good pre-season if we're definitely going to make an impact at the top. And again, I always take the pre-season media prediction as a bit of benchmark as to whether my transfers have been successful or not, because there must be some sort of calculation in there from your players' current potential abilities to work out what the odds are of you winning that league. So if you're woefully miles away, you've probably not got the right squad build. If you're right up near the top of that, you've probably done something right. So again, it's not cut and dry and it doesn't guarantee anything, but I think it's a good indicator. And again, let me know in the comment section how you work out where you think you are and how well you think you've done in the transfer window. I always like to get that kind of warm, fuzzy feeling that we're going in the right direction. Coming up to the last 5 minutes of the game. Final chance for Fulham, I think. And it'd be interesting to see where they finish at the end of this league. I know they've got some good players. They had the highest wage budget out of all the teams in the division. So I would expect them to be challenging at least for a Premier League spot. But again, we all know it doesn't work out that way. Certainly they'll be releasing some players that we might have a little trial for. Might be able to enhance us slightly. We'll see. Bit of a long highlight this one as he delivers the ball into the box. And again, a Milichieri, he's not their player. He's in on loan from somewhere because I also looked at him. So let me have a quick look because I think they've loaned him in. No, they've got him. Let me just have a quick look because I'm sure I had a look at him earlier on Southampton. Yeah, I think I'd previously looked at him when he was at Southampton at getting him in. It might have been while we were at Exeter, or it could have been just as we joined Millwall. But yeah, that's a good signing for them, really. When I had him scouted, he looked like an absolute world beater. So unfortunately for us, he's paid to us today. So there we go. Final league game of the season is out of the way. Not happy with it. And again, there need to be some big changes coming to the new season. Looking at the league table then, yeah, Fulham. They wouldn't have had to win that game to get in there, but if results hadn't gone their way, maybe they wouldn't have got in there. So they had to win that game, which is probably why they've put us to the sword so easily. We had nothing to play for. What I'll do is I'll click through to the end of season awards. We'll have a quick review of how the season went, good players, bad players, top scorers, all that sort of stuff. So stay tuned and I will take you through it. And welcome back for the end of season review. So here we go. I've not been through this. I've not seen what it's going to be in. Having joined partway through the season, I'm not sure who all their signings were. So here we go. Here were all the new arrivals. Liam Fotheringham, who got loaned out straight away. Benny Benangame. I'm familiar with him because I'm an Everton fan, so I know all about him. But yeah, got him in and he went out straight away. George Johnson, he's actually a really good player. He's one of the ones that I think we'll be keeping moving forward. Josh Murphy, he came in as a quite high value player, I think. They spent a lot of money on him. He didn't perform as well as I think maybe he should have. But yeah, he's 30, still all right. Might be able to keep him for another season. Jamie Patterson didn't play a lot of games really. Again, I'm familiar with him from playing for Bristol City. I think he's moved on now. I can't remember who he went to in real life. But again, yeah, not a great player. 33 now. We'd probably look to move him off the wage budget because he's taking up £13,000 a week, which isn't ideal. Paul Smith, he's been all right, but I think we can probably do better in that position. George Tanner again, another player out there, but not quite enough potential, I don't think. So we might look to move him on as well. Outwise, then Mate Vidra. So I mean, again, they had a pretty good striker that they've let go. Massimo Luongo, midfielder, Vontae Daly-Campbell. He looks like he had a bit of potential in him there. Jonathan Krakow, yeah, I think I'll let him go. He looks absolute garbage. Sean Hutchison, again, a good player, but he was too old and he wasn't a first teamer, so we needed to cash him in for the wage bill. Loaned quite a lot of players out. Abdul Malik, he's probably been one of the better ones. Now, we have extended his contract and we are going to keep him, albeit he doesn't currently fit into the formation we play. But as I alluded to earlier, I think we'll look at reviewing the formation we play and the way we play next season. So season results-wise then, board expected a mid-table finish at the start of the season. Obviously, when we took over, it was avoid relegation, which we've done. Yeah, so not a great result overall. Form-wise, the start of the season looked terrible. We did pick it up. We went on a bit of a run. Went on another mini run. But again, we ended pretty poorly. I could blame some of that on injuries, but I just think it was tepid performance towards the end of the season. Knocked out the FA Cup by Everton. We were here for that. It was a very close game, and I actually think we outdone them on XG possession and chances created. So I think we were a little bit hard done by, but again, it was never a competition we were going to win. Carabao Cup, we were out of that before we arrived. Swindon knocked us out. So biggest win of the season, 4-0 at Brentford. We were there for that. Match to remember, 4-3 at Hull. That was the first game we took charge, if you remember. Alexander getting a hat-trick and then never really scoring many again. And then goal of the season, we were there for that as well. So all the moments to remember were there when we were there. So that's a promising thing to take from it, is we helped achieve some of the finer moments of the season. Reputation-wise, no change. Revenue, no great changes. I think it's pretty standard. No competition prize money. I think that's the same for most clubs. Merchandise and shirt sales, Murphy, no surprise, is coming in as one of the highest paid players. Forward winger, he was the highest shirt sales. Smith, again, another winger. Atibo, probably one of the best rated players in the squad. Thompson, Palmer, Brown. I always find it odd if you don't have your main striker as one of the highest shirt sales. I think to the likes of Ronaldo and Shearer and Harry Kane, players like that, it's every club, the followers normally have the goal scorer as the highest shirt sales. But again, that's just a personal observation. How we lined up then. So yeah, I think that probably looks about right. I don't think Campy would necessarily be in as a first choice centre half. I also don't think Tanner would necessarily be the first choice right winger. But the rest of it's there or thereabouts. I think that it'll look significantly different at the start of next season, shall we say. No awards for me in this season. Club awards, we got Player of the Season, goalkeeper. Again, I can't fault him. Young Player of the Season, Alexander, which is the striker. Leonard, goal of the season, which we saw. Top scorer, Hugo, with 8. That's awful. That's really, really awful to not even get to double figures. Most assists, Murphy. He was injured towards the end of the season as well, which is a bit of a shame. And most man of the matches, Ripley, which tells you we're probably under the cosh for a lot. Oldest goal scorer, Campy, 34-year-old veteran centre-back. Again, he's not going to be there much longer because we need to free up some wages. And yeah, no competition award. So all in all, a bit of a mixed bag, really. Poor start to the season. We've taken over and saved them from relegation. There is some bare bones of a squad to look at in terms of transfers, we'll just have a quick look at the vision and expectations for next season so you know what we've got to work with for the transfer window. So again, direct football, high tempo pressing, sign under 23 players, which we've got 5 on the way in. Develop players using the youth system. I don't think there's many in there, maybe 1 or 2. Make the most of the set pieces we can try and do. We're within the wage budget. Maximum 1-year contracts for players over the age of 32. Oh, to be honest, I'm probably a fan of that because when you get to 33, 34, you're kind of not as fit and fresh as you used to be. Avoid relegation, which I think is fairly reasonable. So we'll accept that vision. I'll just have a quick look at the team report so you can see where we are in terms of squad depth. As a brief snapshot of what we're going to be looking for in a transfer window, I think definitely a goalkeeper. Probably at least one of the defensive positions. I would say definitely a striker. And then it's a bit fluid on players that go out. We might drop that defensive midfield player and go like we were at Exeter, and we'll still have a player in just behind the strikers. Whether that's a shadow striker or an advanced playmaker, we're not sure yet. So yeah, excited for the transfer window. Once again, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, drop a like on it. Subscribe if you don't want to miss on any further episodes. And I will see you soon for the transfer special. Hopefully it's going to be a good one because we need to get into the Premier League and quick smart before the new version of the game comes out. So once again, take care and I'll see you soon.